did some research. I think for the practical bit, most of the things we shall do maybe at a later time. However, what I managed to do regarding the practical bit, let me just do here, because I saw on the cloud somehow comes out when we do this. So last time we talked about the resource exposure policy, allow debugging, allow downloading source, and include symbol in file. This one allows you to download the source code if it is true. If it is false, you don't download. This one allows
seems you are sharing only the presentation. Eh?
Oh,
maybe
sorry,
you share the entire screen.
Let me share again. Share again. Hope now I'm clear.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So I said last time, said that I did some research. So I think I might be a code exam in the future. Some other people presented, but some things we are taking for science, but more technical yet to make enough research about it. But for now, I think we can do the theory for some things and future probably after some people have presented. Okay, so last time we talked about the resource exposure policy. We said it replaced this. It replaced this. Show my code. So show my code does the same work as this. This one, resource exposure policy. So if it is false, then they cannot debug in your code. They cannot download your code. So it was all these ones were embedded in one, this one. So they made it a bit richer by giving you more functionalities. They are giving you, you can either tell someone not to debug, but they can download the source, or not download the source, but they can debug into the code. And this one, downloading the symbols, allowing someone to download the symbols from your extension. Maybe you have a custom extension and you put custom tables and pages and everything. So you enable them to download pages, to download symbols. So this one, if it is false, doesn't allow you to download symbols. So let us test when they are all true. When they are all true and I publish, I'm testing from this cloud. What is this? Oh, let me first run this. Yeah, so now so because I had both of them, they do the same work, show my code and resource exposure. So they don't allow you to have them set at the same time. So I've removed the source, show my code, and now I want to publish in Sandbox. Somehow. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe as it is publishing, what we didn't see. Okay, I was explaining to you this. I think we didn't see this one last time. Apply to Debug extension, what John was explaining about. So we have two types. There are like two types of three. We have dev, PTE, I think we shall see in future, but tenant extension, then the development extensions. Those ones are in progress. The development extension is an extension that is published mostly from Visual Studio. And when we go, let me go to this. Where is this guy here? The password. The password. Okay, okay. Okay, so let me go to extension management. Where we see this from. Okay, so in extension management here, you can see advanced human resource as a dev. So it is published as a dev, and also advanced human resource, the same as a PTE. So PTE is per tenant extension. Normally, after developing and you publish the extension as an app, it will be labeled as per tenant extension. And this is what is advisable or recommended for us to publish in the live production. And not the dev. Though currently, I think most of them we have dev extensions, which means that it is still under development and the source can be downloaded. So if in the extension you don't have this one set to false, it refuses, it still downloads your code. So if you go to most of the on-prem Business Central production, you will see that we can download that source code. Anyone can go and download and use. Let me show you an example. Sorry. See an example of one of the on-prem. Wow. This is our production. Okay, so when I go to extension management, so extension management, you will see that the UA extension, this is like the base, is a dev. UA bank integration is a dev. Ifris integration is a dev, and UA extension is also dev. So this shows, as Microsoft, they know, this one shows that it is under development. You're still developing. So until you publish it as an app, that's when it changes to PTE. Tenant, and now that one cannot be downloaded. So let me show you this. If any person comes and they download this. So download source. Download source. Okay, so it downloads it. And when I do extract, you're going to see everything there. So someone just takes. Yes, you can see the Form 5 reports, the accountability reports, bank reconciliations, everything, approvals, staff restores, everything. It will generate everything, work plans, and they can take and use for whatever reason. So that's how important it is to. So let me go back to this one. This one, it has this field here, source. So yes, meaning you can download that source. Then no, PTE, you cannot download the source. So when I try to download this, it is going to accept. Then I'm going to also try this one. Has downloaded, can you see? So now let us also try this one. So you can see this one is saying the effective policies for this package do not allow you to download the source code. Contact the extension provider for more. This one has been downloaded, the one that yeah. Okay. So this extension was, let me see the name of this extension. It is advanced HR. So I'm going to change now the functionalities. I'm going to change the other code, the other resource policy for not downloading, and then I publish again. For the cloud, at least. This one, where? This one.
Tim, once
Yes.
again, what does that apply to dev extension? What does it do?
Apply to dev extension. This one tells it's a policy that makes dev extensions not downloadable. Actually, that's what I read. Dev extensions. See, applies to resource exposure policy options to dev extensions as well. It applies these resources. However, as you have noticed.
So it means,
Yes.
does it mean that if you apply those resource exposure policy to false, and you
Yes.
and you publish through VS Code to make it a dev extension, still that extension will be downloadable until you set this one to true. They apply to dev extension.
Yes. And we are
Okay,
going
so
to set it true.
meaning that the resource exposure policy only works for extensions that are not dev unless
Yes,
you apply
BTP.
to dev extension.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. That's it. Because by default, as you can see here, it is false by default. So until you make this one true, that's when a dev extension also will not be downloadable. So I've just published and go to our extension manager. But still. So it has actually here. So what is different from the on-prem and the cloud? The on-prem, I tried also publishing like this. Of course, even if this one is not here, it is default. Its default is false. And then you try putting this. The on-prem, you can download still. Should I show you an example? Just to see that, because this one we have seen, yes?
For the interest of time, given that we've seen some practical part of this, maybe you can just explain those and then we'll move to something else.
Okay. So this one, when we change the other one to, when we change the download source to false and published again, the dev also was affected for the cloud, but for the on-prem, it is somehow different. Yeah. So that's it for this Okay, so we had break on record write. Didn't explore that much. However, we have also non-debuggable. There is a feature attribute called non-debuggable feature, where when you set on just set on one. Let me just get another extension. Okay, so maybe I have a variable. Go back on this. Let me just so this one, that attribute, you can put it on a variable or a function. And if you put it on a function, even if all other areas of the extension can be debugged except that area. So this variable, if I'm to set it like this, the way it is, or others, they cannot debug it. It will the debugger will skip this section here. I will not go in much detail. Let me just try to proceed to something else. So I said at a later time, Magma to give me some time, and I deep dive in the practical bit because I did go through. But so we have seen this. So last time we ended here. We said this last option might be crucial. This is where code can be debugged into despite the allow debugging flag being set to false. So when you allow you set it to false, if the extension is set as dev, and we said being set as dev means that this is the temporary. It means it's the same temporary extension. You're still developing, in other words. And so when you go to production, it will change to PTE, internet extension, which is the one recommended for production. Then custom external tools for AL might get access to the DAL information exposed by debugger by listening to debug events triggered by Visual Studio. So now it's not very clear for me. We have seen all this. Allow debugging source said doesn't you don't download the extension if you set it to false. To set it true, you can download the source code. Include source in symbol file. This one allows you to download symbols, just like we do. You download symbols from another. Maybe you're depending on another custom extension. So for you to download symbols from that extension, this one must be set to true in that extension. If it is set to false, then you cannot. You will fail. So whenever you download symbols and maybe fail, you might need to try and find this include source symbol file. Then we have touching a specific company. There is a parameter that was added here, startup company, which was added to the configuration, where you can set. Yes.
First, go back one step on that first property.
This one.
Yeah, the include source, because the explanation, your explanation is quite different from the expectation. What did you say about the include source in source symbol file?
So I said that when you set include source symbol file to false, the extension to which you want to download symbols from, it will not download symbols. Maybe it is depending. Extension A is depending to extension B, and then you're in extension A. Then of course you want to download symbols from that extension. So if it is false, if you set this to false in extension B, it will not download.
You're missing something again, and actually I'm seeing it. You documented it in your slide. I want it to come out clearly.
Also the functionalities and source code.
Have you seen it? So doesn't only download the symbols, but also actually the symbols, when you have a dependence, the symbols will come. But there is a key thing that this property is doing, and that key thing is indicated in your slide, yeah? That you need to spell out clearly.
The functionality and the source code on all resources of the extension.
Okay,
when
I see
when
John
this is set
hand.
to true. Yes, John.
Thank you, Kim. From that, in most of the cases, we just download symbols. And there are certain things we always find, and we keep asking ourselves why. Have you encountered a case where you try to navigate to a function or a definition of a certain calling in your solution, but does not give you the logic? You could be referring to a table. When you say navigate, go to definition, you actually just find the parameters. If it's a table, if it's a page, you cannot even access the solution, the logic. I would think that's what it could be implying. That case, I can download the symbols. I'm able to work through. But in case I want to say, let me go to definition of one of those callings you are doing, those differences, you may not get the logic in the function you are actually referring to. Take an example. If you go to email functionality, the new emailing, you can download symbol. But if you happen to say, go to definition, let's say code unit, create email message, you will not find the body, you will not find the logic of how that function is. You can also be referencing a table. You go to definition of the table, you only find the table attributes, but no logic. Even cases, you go and happen to say, go to definition, it will give you a highlight that You cannot drop this definition. Yet in your solution, you have declared a variable, you have called that variable, but you cannot go to the definition of what you have referenced to. I don't know that people have encountered this or not. On my side, I've encountered them. Little did I know it will lead you to that particular profile setting. I'll try it and see. But I've encountered such cases. You declare a variable, you happen to say go to definition, you cannot actually see what the definition is. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, John. I think John brings it out well, yeah? Akim, what didn't come out from your explanation is that when you include source, the keyword is source. When you include source in the symbol file, when you download the symbols, it is also going to download the source code within that symbol. It is not just including the symbols, because the moment you declare a dependency, the dissertation has this dependency, you get the symbols. But if you go to maybe the definition of any of the reference functions in the other dependent extension, you won't see the actual code. So what brings that code out is this property, include source in symbol file. Is it clear?
Yeah, it is clear.
Yeah, but I don't know whether you spot the difference between what you were explaining and what we've just said. For you, we are saying that the symbols will be downloaded. That comes as a default, as long as we have a dependency extension. The key thing is those symbols will contain the source code and all other resources of the other extension.
Yes.
Yeah. So I observed that wasn't clearly explained. That's why I had to take you back. Please proceed.
Okay, so thank you for that explanation. Okay, so we have something where we have launching a specific company from Visual Studio Code. You can have multiple companies, Business Central tenant, as we normally do. So when you debug or test your app, you often want to do this in the context of a specific company. So earlier versions of Business Central, you couldn't control which company to which you launch the client from Visual Studio Code. Typically, you would have set up the default company with the client first. So this start up company parameter was added, can be added in launch.json configuration file and use it to specify the company to which the client is launched in Visual Studio. Startup company. Yes.
Okay, Kim, I think that is clear. Let's move faster. You can just show us the property here, but you may not build. Show us the property from VS Code. We see it, then we move.
Yeah, it is startup company. I think you have seen.
No, I mean in VS Code under launch.
Yeah.
You can just, okay.
Yes, I've shown. Have you seen the property startup company?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you can set the company that launches. Okay, so then the other one is viewing SQL information during debugging. So let's say that the database blocks when developing and troubleshooting without sandboxes, without those SQL access, it becomes a bit hard. Maybe you've got logs or something. So to identify which log are taken from AL when calling, for example, rec.modify or find set methods, it is hard. So while these SQL logs can be seen in the web client using this debugging, it is difficult while debugging. So you need another browser with another session. So to help you see these database statistics, to help you with this, the database statistics section is the variables window of Visual Studio Code. AL debugging experience has extended to show SQL logs for debugged sessions. There is a section. No, not going to.
Kim, did you try this out? Because I don't want us to see you moving around the screen, yeah? I want you to take us through what you are sure of.
I think I didn't explore it so much, but
So now what are you showing us in VS Code? Kim. You're not going to just go through these slides, eh? We need, before John comes in, eh? Kim, I think I'm going to give you some more time and you prepare very well, yeah? Because I want members to benefit from these presentations. Read something, try it out, have your VS Code set, talk about it, show us. Let's appreciate, move to something else. Because now it is going to become very boring. We can all get this documentation and read through it. Yes, John.
Kim. Kim and the team, regarding that particular issue, I don't know that I've noticed every time you run extension in the debug mode, probably if I can show my, let me share my screen. There are some extra tabs that always come during the debug process. This is an extension, but every time you run it in debug mode, among these tabs here, it introduces others. Sometimes when an error happens, you can navigate through the error. There's a certain window called the error window that it will give you here as another tab for you. Then that other section of the debug of the database statistics will also be added here as part of another analytical section during the debug mode. You can try it out. You can try to run any of those extensions at hand. You just try to debug. You notice that this window, just the other folders, it will introduce others here for you to always navigate. It will show you a timeline, to show you the tasks, it will show you the errors, the error summary, so that you can see the outline of what execution is all about. So probably in that way, you appreciate that component of database statistics here. It's not a property idea. It's just something that is added during the debug here. In most cases, whenever we're debugging, I've noticed we go straight to the error, but there is a build-up of how that error has come up. What was the endpoint point of the process? Where did it go? Which code unit, which function? There's always that flow. And that flow is always seen in that result folder that comes up. That is it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, John. Kim, I don't know how much time do you need to prepare for this session, because what I want to prevent is a situation where we don't get what we expected of from such demos. As I mentioned earlier, and this goes to all the people who are going to present, we are preparing for developer exam, and trust me, we shall understand these things better when we see them practically. Okay, we can all read through this document